give things easily and generously. कभी कभी लेना भी पड़ता है. The UN used to be more relevant in 1950s, 60s. Those five who were the self-selected chaudharis of the system, it was easier for them to dominate a smaller number of countries between whom there was a big gap.
United Nations Security Council hasn't been able to prevent the wars ever since it was set up. I mean, most of the wars. But some of the members have successfully prevented the entry of India or India getting a permanent seat in the UNSC. So with your years of experience, sir, how do you construe the relevance of the UN system, number one? And secondly, what should India do in this regard?
I would say first the relevance of the UN. You know, the UN used to be more relevant in 1950s, 60s. But what happened was, as the number of countries grew, and those five who were the self-selected chaudharis of the system, they actually, you see, it was easier for them to dominate a smaller number of countries. Happened in the last 30, 40 years. That is no longer the case. You know, I'm now taking India itself. That, you know, today the five permanent members are not the five largest economies of the world. There is just one indication I'm giving you. Also, what has happened is, with the passage of time, other countries have developed a confidence to challenge, saying, I don't agree with what you are saying. Then they are fighting among themselves also. That, we've seen in Ukraine that they could not, even themselves come to an agreement. So, and even during COVID, everybody said COVID is, the worst thing which has happened. It was, if you look at the number of people who died, the number of deaths in the world would compare with what happened in a world war. But what was the role? Us samay, think back. Did anybody think UN was going to help anybody in COVID? So the fact is, in many ways, the limitations of UN are showing. Now, in normal life, in anything, when some product or some organization, any organization gets older, what do? You bring in newer people, younger people. You bring in new energy. You broaden out. Even if it is company, you will get more stakeholders. You will. Now, what is the normal process of renewal and change, which is applicable everywhere, in every walk of life? That natural process of change today is being denied in the UN. It is being denied in the UN because there are just a few countries. Because when you ask me what are our prospects, 20 years ago people would say, yes, India ko hona chahiye, one day they will get there. With each year, definitely with each 5 years, 10 years, I can see people actually feel, no, India must be there. We actually feel strongly you are not there. Sometimes when I meet other foreign ministers or leaders, before I bring it up, they tell me, ये बहुत अफसोस की बात है आप नहीं होते, अगर आप होते तो कुछ और होता. That feeling is very much there, and people also realize our value, because just I give you अभी जो हमारा G20 का अनुभव जो था, G20 after the Ukraine conflict started was in a very difficult situation, because between Russia and Western countries there was a complete disagreement, and many of the developing countries, जो हम global south कहते हैं, they felt that their interests on trade and debt and these were being ignored. Now people did not think that there will actually be a consensus, a sarv sahmati in the G20. There was no expectation that the Delhi meeting in September will produce a united outcome. But we managed it. Now, why I'm citing that to you is, if a country has such a capability, such a country in the UN Security Council can actually contribute as well. But I would say, with each passing year, the feeling in the world is India ko hona chahiye. I can feel that support.